I'm Vicky from Solo Ventures with Vicky, where every week I look a little bit closer at a country, a weekend away, and play music on the move from artists we know and love, but as well as unsigned artists. But as it is a very special occasion, episode 10 of the show on Women's Radio Station, I have a very special guest with me who's coming in to share her music taste, but also her knowledge as well. So Emma Field, travel writer and part of the team of Thelma and Louise. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm really excited. Sorry. I'm like, yay, live person, need to come talk to me. And also, wow, you've lived a fantastic, travel adventures and journeys. But we'll get onto that in a sec. What I'd love to know is a bit more about Thelma and Louise for those who don't know anything.
Yeah, so Thelma and Louise is an online community. It's offline as well, but it's a community for women who really want to travel. So they might be looking to travel to fulfill dreams that they've had their whole lives, but something is stopping them. So maybe it's budget, or it's a fear, or there's something in the way. And often it's a lack of a travel buddy. So Thelma and Louise is in place to help women meet each other and plan together. So we provide the inspiration, the encouragement and the tools that women need so they can actually get out there and fulfill their travel dreams.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because sometimes people, are just nervous of taking that step and travelling to a destination by themselves. Yeah, and here they can partner up, find people with suitable interests then.
Yeah, so you'll find all kinds of women from around the world. It's a really global community. And some of them just want to find a travel buddy to help split the costs, the dreaded single supplement.
Yeah, that is hard, yeah.
Other people may have lost a husband or have a husband who just is not interested in travelling. Yeah. Other ones are just really, really curious about the world and want to get out there and explore it. And the thing that they need is someone to do it with them. So we help pair people up.
And what kind of trips do you have?
Oh, such a range. I think the most popular destinations at the moment are France and Italy.
Beautiful.
But this year we're getting more interested in places like the USA, the UK.
Yeah.
But then we get a fair few people wanting to go to places like Iran. People have been there.
Wow.
There's been quite a few trips to Iran and they're really, really popular. We get big groups of women going there. Mongolia comes up again and again.
Oh, I really want to go to Mongolia.
It's such a beautiful country. It's incredible. And then I think there's one to Tajikistan at the moment, a road trip in Tajikistan.
Oh
so
my
this
gosh, this is so
they go
kick-ass.
all over the world. It's fantastic. And more and more women are planning trips around events as well. So the Eagle Festival in Mongolia is one coming up. There's a book festival in Transylvania.
Oh, wow.
So it's really interesting. Even if you're not planning on joining any of these trips, you can go and have a good browse, and the inspiration that you'll get will take you wherever you want to go.
That's so cool. But on a side note, anyway, going to festivals and local events in countries is a wonderful way to embrace the culture, get to meet local people, and see a glimpse to. I mean, it's always quite busy though, but it's fantastic to see that.
Yeah, and for me, I think going to a festival, especially food festivals, is a really fantastic way to get another taste of that culture.
A weekend away, one of my favourite cities in the world, top 3, talking about. The other 2, by the way, are Madrid and Melbourne. But this time I'm looking at Manchester. I lived there for 3 years as a student, so I'm a little bit biased. But to be honest, it's the only place in England that I really feel at home, where I really connect with. It's a smaller version of London, and people are really friendly. People will sit and talk to you and have a chat and want to find out about your life. I mean, it's got Chinatown, it's got Deansgate, which is similar to Soho, it's got Curry Mile, which is similar to Edgware Road, and it's home to so many independent music venues, great shopping and an eclectic nightlife. In the day, really go and explore the canals around Deansgate. Stop for a ridiculous cheap pint at Sinclair's Oyster Bar. It's right by Selfridges. It's one of my favourite bars ever. They do their own cider, they do their own lager, and it's £2.50 or something. And you can sit outside and, if fingers crossed, it's a sunny day. Oh, it's wonderful. And then you can just watch people wander by. Also peruse, vintage clothes and quirky items in Affleck's Palace. Go for a curry at Mugli or Shere Khan. Those are the 2 best. In Curry Mile, after wandering around, Whitworth Art Gallery or the Museum of Science and Industry. There's just so much going on in Manchester. See an upcoming artist in the Day and Night Bar or a unique play at the Contact Theatre. And spend your night bar hopping in Northern Quarter for edgy cocktails and get rid of your hangover at one of the best burger places in the world almost famous. Oh, just the thought of those burgers, mouth-watering. Moving on, music on the move. So now we're going to be looking at a female unsigned artist. She describes wanting to create a special gift to mark her parents' 30th wedding anniversary. As a novice guitar player, she learnt a few chords on the guitar, and this song just fell out, using the first line, "You are the one, never any doubt," which her dad said to her mum, and the rest kind of describes their intimate relationship. So her song focuses on the hardships that we face in life and the journey we take, but also our love for one another as humans within family, friends or strangers. And without further ado, here's Anna Arans with her song Life. So these Victorian explorers are the real inspiration behind your adventures, really.
Yeah, they give me a really good purpose to travel, because I believe that it's to do with the journey and not the destination. And it's just fantastic to follow in their footsteps and see what is still there that they would have seen that hasn't changed, and how they would have dressed and what they would have taken with them. That's interesting.
And so you highlighted as well that men were always interested in exploring the Nile and locations, whilst you're more into understanding culture as well, which is fantastic.
Yes, that's what I've found. After the first few journeys, I realised, these women are really talking to the locals. They're taking themselves as a European to places where they've probably never seen a European. They're experiencing the same ancient ceremonies in a way, like drinking the chicha on the Amazon or butter tea in northern Ladakh. And I realised that is something that we don't realise. It's exploration hasn't got to do with climbing a mountain or finding the source of a river, has it? It's to do with the culture.
And is there a moment of your travels that really sticks out to you and you just think, wow, I'm so grateful to have been there?
Oh, definitely. Being on the Laguna Rimachi on the Amazon.
These are incredible. Like, literally, I'm here with my mouth open, like, wow. With the escapades that you're just coming up together, and it's just fantastic. And I just remembered something in your talk as well. You highlighted that you started in your 50s as well. Yeah. So I just want to highlight to our listeners that you can travel whatever age, any opportunity.
Of course, just look after your health. Yeah. That's the most important thing, and you can do it.
So I'm here with Jo Bradshaw. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I just enjoyed your wonderful lecture about the first woman who climbed Mount Everest. How did you feel following her footsteps?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. And I am ashamed to say I didn't know a huge amount about her when I climbed in 2016. And just missed her in 2015. I was on the mountain when the earthquake happened in 2015. And she came out 6 months later to celebrate 40 years of her summit. So what a phenomenal individual she was. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So you were talking before in your talk about mental health and some of the work that you do actually to raise awareness and funds for mental health charities. Whilst climbing mountains, and if you're struggling at one point, how do you overcome that?
Oh gosh, a couple of ways. So I have two characters that I use for myself and also when I'm leading expeditions, and they're called Negative Nelly and Positive Polly. They sit on one of my shoulders. So Negative Nelly is usually on my left and Positive Polly is on my right. And we all know what it's like, is that even if the body's willing, the brain can go, actually no, I'm not really into this. And that's when Nelly starts chuntering away. And sometimes I physically flick her off, which is, I'm doing the sort of motion now, which is great for radio, but I sort of flick her off and then think about all the reasons I've chosen to do
Travelling
this.
across 5 to 6 time zones as you go.
Oh, gosh.
And there was a lot of vodka going around.
I won't judge, that sounds great.
It was very cultural.
Hey, sometimes you need to do that. All the different places.
Couldn't speak to anyone. I think I was the only Westerner on that train, which was not what I was expecting. And by the end of it, I had very little idea of where I was, but everyone was so helpful and kind. Wow. And I think I got on the train not having a clue what to do. Yeah. And I was in a 4-berth carriage, and then this huge businessman got on, sat down on the berth opposite me and started rubbing his legs. And I thought, oh God,
Oh no,
this is not
Red
going to be
flag.
a great trip. But actually, I discovered the next day that the blankets that were put on my bed weren't there because they're meant to be there. He'd gone and paid for them, and he was just helping. He was making sure that the foreigner was being taken good care of and looked after.
Lovely.
Yeah, it goes to show you can't judge people by appearances
exactly.
or leg rubbing habits.
How was Mongolia? I'd love to go.
It was just beautiful. I think it's probably one of my favourite country in the world. I'd love to go back, but the overwhelming memory of it was just the enormous skies. So it's huge, vast tundra. The most lovely people I've ever met. And a sense of just being out there in the open. So I arrived in Ulaanbaatar, met up with a group of people in the guest house, and together we hired a driver.
Nice.
And we headed out to drive through Mongolia. We drove around lakes, went horse riding, went through the Gobi Desert.
Oh wow, that would be incredible.
Ate camel. Ate horse.
You ate camel?
Fell off a horse.
You ate camel? What was that like?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
It wasn't my favourite meal.
Probably quite tough, I
It
think.
was quite tough, and it was in a very watery stew. But I think the most memorable thing I ate in Mongolia or drank was arag, which is fermented mare's milk, and it's alcoholic. And there is no reason to drink it that I can think of other than
They just do it to get drunk, really.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You're trying all the local drinks all over
I'm
the world.
sounding like a complete drunk here. This is not how I travel. I don't necessarily travel just to drink.
My bucket list. I've got vodka on the list to drink in Russia, tequila in Mexico. You know, you've got to embrace the local
I do
cultures.
think it's an important way to sample local cultures.
Yes, exactly. And so on to your next trip as well. So that ended in Canada. Tell me about that.
So this was from Brazil up through South America, a boat round from South America up to Central America, and then up the west coast of the US up to Vancouver, and then across by train to Winnipeg, which is not everyone's main goal, but it's where my partner's from. So
lovely.
It took us about, I think, again 9 to 10 months, that one.
So you both travelled together?
Yeah.
Oh,
I met
so
him on
sweet.
the first overland trip.
Really? Oh my God, that's so romantic. Oh, that's so lovely. And then you went on the second trip together?
Yeah. It's a different experience travelling in a couple, but again, worth
Tell
it.
me more. I've never backpacked.
You
I've
meet
only been on
different
holidays.
people.
Yeah.
You meet different people. I have to say, I think I prefer the solo travel.
That's why we're on
Sorry,
Solo Adventures
Craig.
with Vicky. Wonderful. So I'm going to leave this show with a travel quote, which is my favourite. Oh my gosh, I've now fallen in love with it. Good girls go to heaven. Bad girls go everywhere. That's from Mae West. Until next time, see you.